This is your host Tom, and this is 734 Games, and welcome to a very anime edition of GameTime. Today we are playing Persona 4 Golden on the Steam client on Windows PC. And before we get started on the fun stuff, my nephew, he is getting cancer treatment. His Gofundme is in the description. Please help out if you can. And if not, enjoy the video. And any money that anyone gives to this channel will go to that. Now let's get started on Persona 4 Golden Edition.
The true artist, so let's get it, yeah, let's see what we can uncover. What that defies your world, gives you truth and life. What that excels, special enough to guide your way through this shadow world.
Before you jump into Persona 4, there's one thing you're going to need. 2 hours of free time. You see, this game is pretty cool. It's got a really good anime presentation, and that's why you need that 2 hours, because the game starts out with a long anime sequence and some gameplay sequences where you don't have access to the menus. You do get save points, and I guess you can turn it off, but I don't know how, and I didn't want to attempt it because the game just drags you through it. And the first 2 hours are good, but it takes you that long to really get into the meat of the game. It's just one of those old school Japanese games from that generation of the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. They were all the games from Japan seem to follow that trend. Blue Dragon was one of them on the 360. That was a Japanese games by the same people who did by Square Enix. They did Dragon Warrior. But anyway, this is Persona 4 Golden, and this game started out when back in the day on the PlayStation 3 as an exclusive. Now it's on PC. It's on Android, and I want to say it's on iOS as well. I don't know why it's not on the PlayStation, but you can't get it on the PlayStation, but it's here on Steam, and that's good news because it's actually a good game worth playing, and you may want to check it out. I think if you get through the sequences, the first 2 hour sequence. Also, if you're somebody who's just not into watching all the sequences, you can fast forward every sequence you can. You're just going to miss a lot of the story. And that is a problem with a game like this. But it's still a pretty cool game. It's a lot of, to me, it says RPG, but in a lot of ways, because of that first 2 hours, it's a lot like a visual novel. But the characters are all different, and they're endearing, and it's fun. And I didn't try it. I think you can play the game in Japanese with just Japanese dialogue and American subtitles. I didn't try it. I didn't go in the settings to try it, but I enjoyed the game as it was. And the game actually does have a good story. And if you're a fan, especially a fan of games from that generation, then I would definitely say check this game out. I'm going to be bringing a few more updated games. This game has been slightly updated, but obviously it's still on the old engine, so they really can't update it that much. I brought out a couple of old games, Gears of War. I'm going to bring out the new Blood Rain remake soon here. I'll show you guys that one. Hopefully that one will look good in 4K. But this is how this game looks, and I think it looks pretty good for what it is. It's a Japanese RPG. I mean, obviously when I look at Sega's newer stuff, because Sega is basically an Atlas game. Sega owns Atlas. And there's another game I brought to you, a Sega RPG on here earlier, and that one was obviously from this generation, or at least probably the end of the PlayStation 3 overseas. So that game looked a lot better than Persona 4 Golden. But and that game was, of course, Shining Resonance. And I mean, it kind of, these two games kind of have a lot in common. But the backdrop in this game is a modern backdrop where you have kids going to school, and the RPG is basically, in a modern world where the kids enter enter this other dimension through their televisions. So I mean, the game is actually pretty creative, and I like the artistic direction and obviously the presentation and all that. I mean, the game is pretty cool, and I'm definitely gonna get back to it. I have Persona 5 as well. Now I want to play this one first. And I mean, Persona 5 is on the PlayStation 4 and 5 only, so it's not on PC, so it's just kind of weird. This game is only on PC and not on PlayStation 4 or 5, so it's just, I don't know. Hopefully the developer Atlas and Sega, they iron that out. But it's a good series, and it's worth owning. If you own a PC and you own a PlayStation, then definitely get the series, or at least the games that you can get your hands on in the series. And I hope Sega fixes that. But, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Game Time. This is your host, Tom, signing off from 734 Games, where gaming is alive.
Huh, that's it? Boring! Get out of my sight! Soda! That's not gonna work!
Here comes an attack! Defend yourself!
You're getting to be a real pain! Alright, I'm gonna crush you with everything I got! Tsunagi! Soda! That's not gonna work!
It's going to attack! Defend yourself!
Soda! Soda! Pain in the ass!
Here comes an attack! Defend yourself!
What a frickin' pain in the ass! Get out of my sight!